Hello, everyone, and welcome to our live show where I review the websites that you submit. So I can see there's quite a few who have already started joining in. That's fantastic. Right. Today I have 4 websites that I'll be reviewing, and pretty much it's like what we did last week and on the last Saturday. So I just go through these websites and give my take on what I think about the design and how the design can be improved. Right, so today's episode is brought to you by DiviCake.com. Check out the huge selection of Divi themes, layouts, and plugins. The link to that is in the description below. And also, if you'd like to learn how to design websites using WordPress, I have a free course called WordPress Mastery. Now, you can go ahead and enroll in this course. It's absolutely free, so you can just go ahead and sign up for that. And also, if you want to take your design skills to the next level, I also have a Divi course, which is called Divi Blueprint 3. It has a 50% discount, and all you need to do is to use the coupon code DV50 at checkout, and this will give you the 50% off. And also, the good news to that is if you buy this course now, when I update the new course as soon as the Gutenberg is out, you will also have access to that course absolutely free. So that course, of course, is going to be more expensive because I'm going to add more information into that. So if you purchase this now, you automatically be grandfathered into that new course. And also, if you buy Divi using my affiliate link, I'll also give you access to that course. And of course, if you need very good hosting and you're looking for a hosting company, you can also use InMotion hosting that I'm promoting in this show, and that will give you access to the course as well. Okay, so I'd like to say welcome to everyone that's just joining us. I'm streaming this on Facebook and also on YouTube. So please do share this to your groups or with anyone that is interested in web design. Right. Okay, so I just want to make sure everything is working okay. If you can hear me okay, please let me know in the comments box by just saying yes. Or if you're on Facebook, you can just add a thumbs up. Okay, so let's get started with the show. So the first website I'm going to be reviewing was submitted by Joseph. So let's take a look at this. Right, so this is the website. Okay, so just by looking at this looks really nice. I like the logo and the colors as well used in this. It's business-like, so the colors work with that type of field, which is very, very good. As I go through this, I like the icons. I like the way everything is laid out. Everything is the same height, so I think this is good. Now, the only thing that I'll do here is you've got caps. Now, caps are not really, advisable, especially like for a professional website like this. I don't think there's a need to use caps in this case as your titles. So I would just get rid of this and just have normal text. And maybe here as well, I would change, the caps. Okay, that looks fine. Now, over here on this section, I would actually add some padding to this because there isn't enough padding on the top here in this blue area and also on the bottom, and also on this button here which says scheduled demo. I would add some more spacing here, about 100 pixels. That should be fine. And again, this button here has repeated. I don't know. In fact, it's the same button, so I'll get rid of this button here completely because that's just a repetition. Right. So on the last section here, these icons here, they're black. On this dark background, they don't really look nice. So what I would do here is I would reverse the colors, make them lighter or even white. So these will work well if they're white. And also these icons here, just make them white. There's no need to add these colors here on the bottom. But other than that, this seems well put together. And here on the call to action, no, not a call to action, on the value proposition, it's clear what the company does. But what I would do here, because everything else is centered, I would actually center this text because right now it is not centered. So we just need to make sure everything it has a hierarchy and it's following the same sort of like design. So right now this is aligned left. I would center this so that everything is that's set okay. And again over here as well on the top of this, I would actually add more padding. About 100 pixels will do. So that will give this enough space. So let's take a look at the other pages. In fact, this is quite a big website. Okay, so here we have a bit of a problem. Now this image here, just by looking at it, I can tell it's stretched. So make sure that you use images that are high res and not stretched. There's an option there in on your section settings, background settings, where you can actually make this image fit. So right now I can see it's stretched and it's pixelating. So make sure you use images that are, high res and not stretched. Okay, if you have any questions or you want to add anything to this review, please do add that in add that in the comments box, and I will take a look. In fact, I'll take a look now and see if there is any questions. Okay. Right, no questions so far. No, that's okay. But if you do have any questions, just add them in the comments box. All right, so I can see here quite a lot of you have joined us. This is fantastic. We've got Beth, Russell, Teen, I think, Martin, Mark, Beth, Arthur, and Mark as well. Fantastic. Thank you all for joining me. Yeah, Mark says the heading and the text aren't centered. Yes, well picked up, Mark, but I've also spoken about that. But yeah, thank you. And we have Jose also just joining us. Awesome. Good to see you all. Good to see you all. Okay, right. So let's go back and continue here. Right. So this text here on this background, I can see you try to add something in the background here to make it easier to read, but it's still distracted by the way this background image is. So when you want to use like a light color here, you want to use an image that's really dark, or you can actually add a gradient here just to make it easier to read. So let me see if I can give you a quick example here. If I go to Netflix, because I like giving Netflix as an example because they use very good contrast. Okay, so if we take a look here, okay, right, let's use this. So if we take a look at all these images here, right, we can see that there's a gradient on the bottom here. So that gradient makes it easier now for your text to really stand out. So that's what you want to do to your images if you want to add a message to that image. Okay, so that is used throughout. You can also see here that there's a gradient there. There's a gradient there as well. So that these titles really stand out. So you can see here, that's the same thing as well. Okay, right, so back over here, let's take a look. Now, this section divider, I don't think it's doing a good job here. I mean, it just looks like it was just placed there. So I would actually further design this and perhaps maybe even give this section here on this area here on the bottom, give it the same color as this. That would make it look much better. And also I noticed that you're not using the same font size throughout your whole website. Here for your title, you have a different font size and different color. Over here, you have a different size. And let's take a look. Here now you've added a different color, and also your section divider is in the way here of this design. So that's not working. The button style here is changed, whereas on the top here, you don't have any rounded corners. And then here, all of a sudden, you have these rounded corners onto the button. And if we take a look here, this text size is different to what we have here. And also the color that you're using here needs to be white so that it's easier to read on this background. And also this text that you have here, okay? So I would actually take a look at the contrast. And again, I can see you using a blue and a dark blue. I would also take a look at colors that work well with your palette, just to make it easier for, just to add a bit more contrast to your design. Because right now you're using one color throughout your main design, or shades of that blue. Okay, let's take a look here and see if we have any questions. Okay, no questions so far. Right, so let's continue. So I'm just going to take a look at a few more pages, and okay, so this one here is fine, but your button now has changed again. You gave this button a white background, a white border, so that shouldn't be the case. And also, if I mouse over this button, the previous buttons had like an orange on hover. This one doesn't have. So this is where you want to make sure that consistency is applied throughout the whole website. So just copy the button style and apply it throughout the whole website. And also, now that we have find and replace in our latest Divi update, I suggest that you just go and do a find and replace on these titles and apply that to all your titles. So let's say it's a heading 3. I would suggest you do that throughout the whole website, throughout all the pages and throughout the whole website as well. Okay, now over here, this area here has too much text. So I would actually make this look a bit more interesting by using this image as a large image. So I would divide this section here maybe into 2 and have it as a large image, because images really communicate your message clearly. Right, so images. Pictures. A picture say, what's the saying again? A picture says 1,000 words or something like that. But yes, a picture communicates really well. So you want to make sure that you use these images nice and big, and then add your titles or your text or your content that complements it here on the left, because there's just too much text here. Okay, now. If we take a look at this again, in fact, this is fine. But your borders, okay, I would actually have this border section divider, have the same color as this, because right now it just doesn't look right. Okay, so I would try that and see how that looks. Same thing here. But now, when you use this section divider, make sure that you apply it everywhere across the whole website, so that this footer area here looks the same. Great. Okay, so let's find a few more. Okay, PST migrations. Right, now you can see this page is totally different. It looks like it's a page from a different website altogether, because you've gotten rid of the image that you had here consistently throughout the other pages. So that's gone. And now you have these big icons that you didn't have before. And again, you've added a black border here. And also your section dividers are really not adding any design benefit to this page. So I would go in and fix that. And also the text size here, again, you've lost the consistency. The size is different, and I'm sure the font is different too. And what you've done here as well, you've used a different font. So it's very important that you use the same font throughout your whole website. Here you've changed it. I don't know why. But, this shouldn't be the case. Choose a font that you're going to use globally through your website. That just, makes your website look professional, or more professional and consistent. Okay? Right. Let's move on to a different page. Right, it's taking a while to load. I'm not sure if it's my internet connection. Okay, so let's give it some time while it's loading. Right, so as you can see, the trend with this website that we are reviewing is there's a lack of consistency when it comes to the images being used, the titles of the page, the buttons, and also the text. So it's very, very important that when you design your website, you pick one font that you're going to use throughout your whole website. And if you're going to use specific colors, again, that needs to just be pretty much used the same way throughout the whole website. Right, so the page is loaded now. Let's take a look at this. Right, again here we've lost that, that image that we had before. And also this font here is definitely different from this one right here. Okay, so as I mentioned a few moments ago, you want to make sure that you use the same font throughout your whole website. And again, over here, you've used caps. That just, I mean, if you're using caps, it's like screaming to, that's the message you're trying to convey. Whenever caps are used, it's just, you know, like you're screaming. And also the line height here doesn't work. In fact, before I even talk about the line height or anything else, you're not supposed to use caps the way you've done it here. And also, yeah, no caps. Let's leave it at that. Right. Okay. Let's do a few more pages here, and then, okay. So this image is okay. Now you've added a different style here. You've now started adding background backgrounds to this row. You hadn't done this before in your design. Again, you keep adding different things onto your website, and it's really all over the place now, because if you're going to add these shadows, make sure that's how it is across the whole website. So that, you know, we don't find it on some pages and not on some pages. So make it a complete thing throughout your whole website. Okay. And now here you've also started adding borders around your content. This was not the case in the previous pages. So again, that's another inconsistency that you've added there. Okay, let's take a look at one more, in fact, two more pages. And then we're going to move on to the next website. Again here, normally in your design, you have a large image that goes across. But again here, you've changed that. And sometimes you have text that's centered, and sometimes it's aligned left. So you do need to make sure that the way it's laid out, there's a hierarchy in your layout. So right now, when I look at this page, there isn't any hierarchy. It looks like the text is like pretty much all over the place. Okay. Right. Let's take a look at the blog. So this light gray, I would make that black or a slightly darker gray, because it doesn't look, I mean, it's too light. Let's put it that way. And also the size, you want to make sure that the size is also the same. My rule of thumb is I normally use 16 pixels for my body text. And that is how it is throughout the whole website. And also sometimes it depends with the font. Some fonts, sometimes you may need to make it slightly bigger. Okay, other than that, yeah, it's okay. And I've also noticed that there's no contact page. I think that's a page that's very, very important for your website here. You need a contact page. I know there's a phone number here on the top and the email address, but I will also add a form where people can add their information onto the contact form. Okay, so pretty much that's all I have for this website. Let me take a look and see if there are any things that I may have missed. Jose says, how can I get you to review my website? If you go to the video description below this video, you can actually see there's a link which says submit website for review. Click on that link and submit your website for review. It's in the description below this image, this video. Russell says there are a number of distracting elements. Yes, I agree with you. Mark also says looks professional in some areas, but cartoon-like icons everywhere. Need consistent styling. Yeah, I think that's I would agree with that as well. Yusuf says, hi Mac, will you review my site today? I'm not sure, Yusuf, because I'm reviewing these websites in the order that they were submitted, because that way it's fair and it's easier for me to manage. So I'm just following that order. Okay. And guys, can you do me a favor and please share this live stream on Facebook or anywhere else, so that we get quite a lot of people also getting the chance to see me review these websites, so we can increase also the engagement. Okay, right. So let me move on to the next one. Right. So this next website here, the first thing I would say is the image that is used here in the background does not work at all. First of all, it's pixelated and it's just a massive picture of someone's shoulder and the tie. It doesn't communicate anything. And even though we have here the title which says "Get Your Dream Job in as little as 3 weeks from now," the complete online course, I would have an image here which has maybe a group of people. But this definitely doesn't work, so I would get rid of that. The logo looks really nice. It looks quite professional, actually. I like it. This video here, the screenshot that you have, or the way it is there, that doesn't really work. You see, in Divi we have the ability to add an image on. It's like an image overlay that you can add there to have like maybe a professional looking image, which you add rather than get a screenshot from the actual video. So I would go in and do that, and also change the icon color. I mean the play button color to match your branding, but this doesn't look very attractive. It just makes the whole page look very unprofessional. Let me put it that way. I know it's a bit harsh, but I mean, here with the message that you have here, get your dream job in as little as 3 weeks, just by looking at the website, I'm not convinced enough. So that's why I would, do a bit more work here just to make it look a bit more professional. So use images here that are not pixelated, and have people that are maybe happy to be in a job, or a group of excited people, that would go with this message. And again, over here, you want to make sure that you have enough breathing room here by adding some padding. Okay. Here you got all this underlined. I'm not sure why that is. And this area here just looks, a bit too busy. I would really like perhaps maybe change the icon colors here and restructure this. Maybe have two columns. Have this information here on the right, and then if you're struggling to find a job, blah blah blah, with the call to action on the left, maybe accompanied by an image as well. So that's how I would have it, because right now it just looks way too busy, and again it needs some breathing space, because over here we don't have enough padding on the top and the bottom of this section. Now this border here, to be honest, it's not bringing anything to this design. So now you've just made it even more obvious that we have white space over here on the left and white space over here on the right. So I would totally get rid of this border. And again, if we take a look at this border, like I said, it's not really bringing any design to this page. So this image here, it's fine. I would actually have it nice and big over here on the left, as opposed to having this border here. And again here, I'm also noticing that there's a bit of inconsistency already with the font sizes. Here you have this title bold. Over here, it's not... okay, I guess it's bold, that's fine. But sometimes you have blue, sometimes you have black, like how you have it here. Okay, so I would stick to one color that you want to use on your page. And over here, again, you're using an image that's pixelated. I wouldn't do that. I would use an image that's not pixelated, nice, vibrant. And in this case, with this text here and these icons, I don't know, something with the colors here doesn't really work. So what I would do in this case is I would use a better image. I would add a gradient, or even make the image a bit darker. And then everything on this will be white, like pretty much everything. That would really make it stand out. And then get rid of this background that you have here, this transparent background. I'll totally get rid of it. And also this text size here is way too small. So as you can see, your paragraph text here, you have it really small. Over here, it's bigger. Okay, so I would choose a color not a color. I would choose a font that is consistent throughout the whole page. And then here again, we can see that this is way too small. And these images here are not the same size. Again, it's just, you want to make sure you address that. You've added a drop shadow here, whereas on this one here, it's very subtle. The circle is not the same size, as you can see. This image here is pixelated. And this image here is not a perfect circle, so I would go in and fix that straight away. And then over here, the size of this text is not the same size here. So again, we have a lot of inconsistencies with the text. The size of these images, they need to be the same, okay? Because it just breaks the hierarchy that you have when you look at the page. So on one hand, you're looking at a tiny image, and on the other hand, you're looking at a big one. It just doesn't. It makes the page appear not balanced. So you want to make sure that your content on your page is balanced. And over here on this button, it doesn't have a hover effect, but if I come over here, it has a hover effect. So again, you want to make sure that whatever you're using here on your site is consistent throughout your whole page, because there's just too much going on. I mean, just by looking at this, it's just too much for my eyes to process. So this is why you'll find that some pages, when people get to them and they see that there's so much to read and the content is not structured, you normally have people just, dropping off without even, reading what's on the page. So it's very, very important that you address these issues. Right, so I'm going to come over here on the next page, the products. Again, I would add an image overlay onto this. And we have a tiny image here on the top. To be honest, that's unnecessary because I can see here that there's this is the same image that you use on the home page, but you decided to use just a little bit of it, right? So that doesn't work. I'll totally get rid of this and find a way to present this page, because again, with this color, it's not working with this video. And again, you have this border. I would get rid of that border and just have this image cover part of this column. And also here, I mean, I don't even know why you chose to do this, but this information here is big. In fact, is this an image? Okay, it's text. Right, so here you have a different color, it's big, and then everything else is small. I'm not sure why that's the case, but again, this just doesn't make things look, consistent. And over here as well, if you take a look at the space that you've left, the padding here to the left of this information, this very little padding, I would add more padding to that. And here you've also used italics text. Again, if this is a price, you want to make sure that this really stands out, because that's just sort of like blending into the text. So you want to make sure that this is highlighted in a way that is much, much easier to see. And over here, again, the text that we have here is, yeah, I mean, I know I keep saying there's no consistency, but pretty much that's what it is. Here, this text is dark. We have lines here on the top. We have lines on the borders. It's just too much going on here. I would fix that. And also, right, so this needs to be addressed. This content here that we have on the bottom, It's pretty much edge to edge with no padding. And yet over here, our page is restricted in a column width, in the same column width. So you want to make sure that your content is within the same column width on your page, because right now it's just like pretty much all over the place. And on the top here, there's no navigation. So how do people then navigate to different parts of the website? There's no way to do that. Okay, so I would go and fix that immediately, because the navigation is very, very important, especially when you have a website that has courses, because your students need to be able to navigate. And I don't think these courses actually work as well, because as I click here on the different lessons, it's pretty much, let's have a look. Yeah, it's pretty much taking me to the same page. Okay, right, so I'll just have to do it the old school way. I'm just going to hit the back button a few times to get back to this navigation. Okay, join job search mentorship. Let's take a look at this. Now on the text, you've added drop shadows. Again, you're introducing different design elements to your website. So you want to make sure that if you decide to have drop shadows, add it throughout the whole website. But in this case, the drop shadows aren't working. So I'm just emphasizing the point that be consistent with your font size and your design elements. Okay. Oh, now we have this pattern, and this pattern, to be honest, is bringing even more confusion onto this section. So you just want to make sure that you keep this area here simple. Have your contact form, and then on the right here, maybe have a map, because those two normally complement each other. This background doesn't really add any design aspect to this section. So pretty much, I think that's all we have on this website. It's a pretty small website. Let's take a look here what happens when I click on login. Okay. This border, I mean, it doesn't, I don't know, it's not working for me, to be honest. And then you also added a drop shadow here. The login page, I'll just keep it nice and simple, where people can just come here and log in with the username and password. Okay, so let's take a look here and see if we have any comments. Right, we've got quite a lot of comments here. Russell says, I believe they have designed for mobile. It looks better on there, but not thought about on other platforms, such as the desktop and tablet. Yes, that's a very good point. I hadn't looked at this on a mobile device, but that's a good rule of thumb. When you design your websites, you want to make sure that you design them for the three devices: the computers, the tablets, and also the mobile phones or mobile devices. Because if you optimize it for the mobile and the experience is different on the desktop, it just takes away that that ease of use when someone flips between the mobile device and the computer. Okay, so I would fix that. Russell, actually, thank you very much for that suggestion. Russell here says, perhaps you could do a video on multi-device design processes and testing. Yes, I think that, in fact, let me make a note of that before I forget. Okay, great. Right, thanks a lot for that suggestion. No SEO on site. So how will they get found? That's a very good point. But I hadn't picked that up. But Russell, if you picked it up, I think that's something that's also very important to everyone. So SEO, you want to make sure that you optimize your website for SEO, because that's how the website can be found by Google using like the specific keywords that you choose for each page. Now The plugin that I use is called Yoast SEO. So that's the plugin that I would use and give my pages, titles, and just make sure that it's easier to find. And you also want to make sure you submit your website to, I think it's Webmasters Tools. I'm not sure if they've changed the name, but there's an XML file that you need to upload to make sure that your website is indexed. Right. Jose says, how often do you review websites? I do this every Wednesdays at 6 a.m. Eastern. If you're in the UK, that's 11 a.m. In the UK. And also on Saturdays at 11 as well. So Saturdays and Wednesdays, that's when I do the website reviews. Right. Okay. Russell just corrected me here. It's called the Search Console. Okay. So it's not Webmasters Tools. I mean, I'm thinking that's the old name they used to have. So it's called Search Console. Great. So let's move on to our third website. Let's take a look here. Just want to make sure. Okay, so we're done with this. Okay, so this is a website. To be honest, I won't even try to pronounce the name because I might mess it up. So let's just go ahead with the review. Right. So first things first. There's where do I start? Just by looking at this website, it doesn't have a clear value proposition. Like, I'm trying to work out what this website does, and that's not a good thing. Okay. Bear with me. That's not a good thing where a visitor comes to your website and they're trying to work out what your company does. So over here, I can see like the imagery. There's laptops, there's desktops. Is it computer repair? I mean, what is it? You can't really make out what it is. So I would have a very strong value proposition, like what the website does, the benefits of the services to the end user or your target audience. That's how I would craft this. So again, there's too much white space here, and the background color that's used here is just doesn't work. I would actually have a large image with the text that goes with it to really bring context to what this company does. I would actually use maybe about 1080 or 1100 pixels as my width, because right now it's just everything is just spread too wide and it's just difficult to read. So I would actually use a width that's slightly smaller than this. Okay. Now, these icons, again, with this blue, I would have these icons rather than black. I'll have them in white because that will make it really stand out. On this text as well, we have drop shadows. There's no need for a drop shadow here. And also, if you have a blue or dark background, you should use lighter text, like in this case, white text. And this portfolio here, I think it can be presented much, much better because these images here are pixelated. It makes your website look dated, okay? You want to make sure that you're using colors screenshots that look great. Now, I use a plugin called, what's it called again? Let's take a look here. Nimbus, okay? Nimbus allows you to have, really nice screenshots. So that's what I would use here and just add them, nice and big. And also things are not centered here properly. I can see here there's more space over here to the right. Just make sure that everything is centered. It's always pleasing to the eye. And I also can see here that there's a lack of consistency in terms of the fonts. This font size here on this paragraph is totally different to this. And I'm picking this up by just looking at the page. So that's different. And are you looking to hire a web developer? Again, over here, the way you've added your video, it looks like a square, but if I play this, I can see it's 16 by 9 inside there. So I would totally fix that because this doesn't look right. It doesn't look professional. And also you've just added this video all the way to the left and you've left all this space here open. It looks like a lot of information is missing. So this needs to be addressed to make this page look much better. And then here we have a video in the background. And I don't know, I'm just having this, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it just looks like, how do I describe it? It looks like someone is trying to look into someone who's trying to, like someone who's doing whatever they're doing, privately, and someone is trying to look into a window that's blurred. It's like, you're trying to hide something. So I would have a video background that actually shows the person rather than have it this way, okay? Unless, if you don't want to show the face of the person, I would choose a video which has the face that you want to show rather than try to conceal what is in the video. Right. Over here on the footer, on the social icons, the Facebook and the Google Plus looks great because it's nice and white, but then why not do the same for the other two icons, because you can make them white as well. So you want to make sure that they all look the same. Right, so there's a few things that need to be addressed here as well. If you look at this button, it's very close to the paragraph text. So I would actually fix that and just give this a bit more breathing room, and also align this and make it look, much better. So there's quite a lot of work that needs to be done here on this page. Okay, so I'm just going to flip over here to the About page. Again, we have that same video. I'm not sure if it's bringing any benefit to this. And okay, let's have a look. Okay, so this website is using anchor links. That's actually a good way of showing your content, but I think it needs to be designed much better than this. Testimonial. Yeah, so this section here is a testimonial. So rather than have this image in the background, why not just have an image of the person that's giving the testimonial? I think that would look better. You don't even have to have this image here in the background. And also the action of drinking that water or whatever it is repetitive, so we can really see it. And it's just, I don't know, it doesn't just look right. Okay, contact. Again, here on the contact, I would add, something in the background here just to make this less, just reduce this white space, to be honest. So maybe even have split this into two rather than have the form on the top and the map on the bottom. So I could even have the map covering the whole width of the page, and then maybe add the address and the contact form. Okay, so FAQ, let's take a look here. Right, so on this page here, the text as well, the color is different. So I would address the color, and also this page looks way too plain. So you may want to go in and do a bit more on that. Okay, so that's all I have to say for this website. So there's quite a few things that you need to address here to make it look much better. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a quick look here at the comments and see if there's anything. Monique says images in the recent work aren't aligned. They should be aligned center. Yes, I agree with that. Things are aligned to the left. So I agree with you, Monique. These images need to be aligned. Okay. Russell is also pointing out the pink menu text. Yes, with the colors here, I don't think this designer here is following a color palette, because the colors there that are used there, just by looking at them, they don't work well together. So that's something else that may need to be addressed. Taking a look at a color palette that works with this. Okay, let's take a look here and see what is happening. Okay, let's move on to our final website. And our website here is rfdancing.co.uk, and this was submitted by Matt. Matt, thank you very much for submitting your website. Right, so first things first, new beginners ballroom class starts in 33 days, blah, blah, blah. See our adult classes. Okay, now if this is a dancing website, I would have a nice big image with people dancing. Okay, because the first impressions that are very important when you get to a landing page. So I would have a large image, perhaps an image that fills the whole screen with people dancing, and then have this message here, maybe on the left or on the right of that massive image. Because the image, you know, tells a great story. So over here, just by putting this red, it doesn't really communicate much. I know we have these images here on the bottom, but you know, it doesn't really catch your attention straight away when you get to the page. Okay, so that's what I would do. And this text here, I would make it even bigger to make it easier to read because it's way too small. Over here, instead of having this light gray, I could have this maybe in red because it looks like red is your main color here, but I wouldn't use it here, by the way. So I would make these icons red. And again, as I mentioned, I would make this text slightly bigger so it's easier to read. And I like this effect that you've added here on the mouse over where it has this shadow, drop shadow. I think that's a really cool effect. Okay, so looking here. You're asking people to leave a review, but I don't think this is the right place to leave the review. I would say maybe on an inside page somewhere, or maybe have a page which is not on the actual website, where when people attend your classes, you send them that particular link, and then they can leave the review on that particular page, rather than have it like this, because when someone comes to your website, they're not going to leave a review when they get to your website like that. So I would actually request a review via email or some sort, okay? And then over here, please take your first steps with Rendezvous for Dancing, call that. Okay, so this call to action here, again, it needs to be accompanied by something exciting. So why not have an image, you know, there on the side and with a call to action to support that image. So that's what I would do, because just having this message here on this white background, I don't think that really works. You want to make sure that it's more, you know, it's more fun, it's exciting. Maybe even have a background, a section with a background video of people dancing there. That's what I would do there. Okay, because that makes it more exciting for someone to want to take the first step of calling for more information. And then over here on the bottom, on the footer, there's just too much white space here. Okay, I would actually go in and fix this and just make sure that everything is in the right width. Okay, so the content here needs to be in the right width, because this doesn't really look, it just breaks the whole design, to be honest. Okay, so that's what I would do on this page. So let's take a look here at adult classes. Again, here we're just seeing the shoes with a faded image, and the faded image is pixelated. This is your opportunity to really bring out, you know, the dancing, which is what your website does, by just adding vibrant images. You know, that makes it really, really fun. I would actually have more images on this website, which just shows different dancing moves and different styles, whatever it is, accompanied by the text. Okay, and I would also take a step further and perhaps maybe even record people dancing, right? And just add that it doesn't have to be you in the actual frame talking. It's just people dancing. So that's what I would add on the homepage here to make it even more attractive. Okay, here the text, the line height is not right. And the text here as well, I would I don't know if I would have this image. I would have these images in the background, to be honest, and then make this text, much bigger and easier to read. And yeah, there's just too much text on this page. Yes, way too much text. And I would actually design this timetable here, the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, in such a way that it's easier to read. Perhaps maybe having those 3 columns, just have rows instead, where you have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Sunday, like that. And then just have that information in rows rather than what you have here as columns. Okay. And this footer here, once you've designed this footer, you can make it a global item, and just once you design it once, it gets applied to pretty much your across the whole website. Right, so I'm just going to take a quick look here and see if there's any comments about this website so far. Russell also says a footer is designed for mobile, too stretched for desktop. Right. Yes, I think we've touched on that in the previous video. That when you design your websites, you need to make sure that it looks great across all devices. Shut the door, I think. Says, is SEO dead? SEO is not dead, but it just needs a great strategy. So perhaps maybe I can take a few minutes and describe and talk about SEO. Now, SEO is not dead. In fact, I was thinking of putting a video together where I talk about SEO and the way to tackle it in this 2018. So SEO, yes, it's not dead, because it's just harder to get your website seen, because there's a few factors that work in SEO. First of all, your domain age, right? That's number 1. Number 2, backlinks, quality backlinks. That's also a factor. So just let's say you choose a niche, or you want to rank for a particular keyword. Maybe the keyword is how to design a website, right? So if you set up your website today and you want to rank for how to design a website, chances of that happening are close to 0, because there are websites that are well established that have a lot of backlinks, high quality backlinks. So those are the sort of like indicators. I know there's more, but those are the indicators to Google that your page should rank higher. Now, is SEO dead? No, but it's much harder to rank using SEO. So my strategy now, and I'll just talk briefly about this, is as you know, Google is the largest search engine. YouTube is the second largest search engine. So what I've noticed is more and more cases now where you search for something online, videos also show on the bottom. So it's much easier to rank for videos. So what I would do, if you have a website that you're trying to rank, when you have keywords that you're trying to rank for, I would actually create videos for that keyword, and then add that, of course, it's going to be on YouTube, but also create a page on your website. So when people search, your video will show up, and that also helps that page, because people will click on that link or on that video and go to that page. So eventually, if you do this over time, your website will start ranking higher and higher that way. But if you do it outright using just text, it's very, very difficult, but SEO is not dead. Okay, it also depends with the niche that you're going into. You may go into something that's not even competitive, so chances to rank in that are also very, very high. Okay. So let's continue taking a look at this page. Right, personal lessons. Again, I think more could be done here, and maybe the instructor that's doing the dancing should also have their page here, and have more imagery about dancing. So that's what would make this really look nice. So I think this is how it looks across. Again, this image here could even be better if this was used on its section and accompanied by this text. So right now it's just way too small, and it doesn't have that impact of to really to get people excited to want to sign up onto this. Okay, let's go to the contact us. Yeah, over here I like the way you've done it. I would just reduce this width over here slightly in, so I would use perhaps maybe even 70% or 1100 throughout the whole website. But what you've done here is brilliant. I like the way you've separated this, and also the way you've added this map. And again, this map, there's no need to have this drop shadow. I'll just have this map in its own section, edge to edge, just covering that whole section. But it looks really nice. And this leave a review, I don't think this is his right place over here on the footer. And then on the top here, I would get rid of this completely. And this is an image that needs to be changed throughout your whole website, because as I mentioned earlier on, it's pixelated and it doesn't just, it doesn't look very vibrant enough for a dancing school. Okay. So pretty much that's what I have for you for this review. Okay, so this show was brought to you by DiviCake.com. Check out their huge selection of Divi themes, layouts, and plugins. And before I forget, I also have a discount on hosting, on eMotion hosting. It's 57% discount. And if you buy your hosting using my affiliate link, I will give you access to Divi University. So all the courses there, you'll have access to those. And also, if you want to buy a course that will take your Divi design skills to the next level, I would suggest that you sign up for the Divi Blueprint 3. It also has a 50% discount, and the coupon code is DV50. Okay, and also if you want to buy Divi and you haven't used Divi yet, the link to that is also in the description below. And if you're brand new to web design and you want to learn how to design websites using WordPress, I have a free WordPress course, so go ahead and sign up for that. Okay, so that's all I have for you in today's website reviews. Also be doing a video later on today, or maybe might be ready tomorrow. This would be a Gutenberg and Divi integration. So that's going to be exciting because it looks like Gutenberg is closer to being released. And for those of you who are members of Divi University, you may have noticed that the courses there are not updated. This is mainly because I'm waiting for this Gutenberg to come out so that the videos will be up to date and the UI will pretty much look consistent with the course. So that's why I've held back until this has been done. So I think we're getting quite close. So very soon you will be getting courses on how to design Divi learning management systems. Divi, like a course website with Divi. I'll be doing a course on that. An e-commerce website with Divi. I'll also be doing that. And also in the pipeline, I also have funnels, like how to create a funnels with Divi. So there's quite a few things, exciting things in the pipeline. So I'm really excited about that. And to be honest, I'm losing patience because I really want to get these courses out there, because there's a lot of you that are signed up to Divi University, and I haven't updated that course. So fingers crossed, this is going to happen very, very soon. All right, so I'd like to say to everyone that joined me today on the show, thank you very much for joining me on this show. I'll be broadcasting again on Saturday at 11. This is UK time, and if you're in the US, it's 6 a.m. Eastern. Okay, so again, the video will be on the website. So if you miss it, you can always go back and watch the restream. Okay. Shut the Dough is saying, what you're saying is true. What I'm wondering is worth the hassle if you can buy ads to drive traffic on Facebook? Right. I think I'll address this before I end the show. When it comes to buying ads, you want to make sure that whatever you're promoting on your website is going to make you money. Because if you just bring in traffic onto your website, you want that traffic to convert into something, into subscribers. You want it to convert into someone buying something. Because just getting, let's say, 10,000 people, driving 10,000 people to your website every day, it's going to cost you a lot of money, okay? So what is the point of driving the traffic? That's the main question. So if you want to drive traffic because you want people to buy something, then that makes sense. So don't just send traffic for the sake of just sending traffic to your website. So I would make sure that that traffic makes business sense. So that could be either opting into your mailing list. Maybe you want to grow your leads or your mailing list. But if it's brand awareness, that's fine. You know, you can get people to see your website. But it can be very expensive. I've tried it myself. And once I nail it, I'll also be doing a course on how to use paid traffic, you know, for your website. Okay. Okay, so there's no more questions. All right, guys, thank you very much for joining me today. I really, really appreciate it. So I'll be here again on a Saturday at 6 a.m. Eastern, and also if you're in the UK, that's 11 p.m. So thank you very much for tuning in, and have a great week. And I'll see you very soon. Take care.